Hello everyone. If you don't know me already, I'm Tara, the dance doctor. Welcome to my channel. The topic in today's lesson is what do I do with my free hand or hands when I am dancing socially? So I know a lot of you are just students of dancing, you're not professional dancers, but you do want to look good, and you're not going to choose like the most flamboyant, showy arm styling. You just want some ways to make your arms look more natural when you're dancing socially. So that is what the purpose of today's video is. I am going to be directing this advice toward salsa, but you can of course use all of these options in bachata or cha-cha-cha or whatever other social dance you like to do. I'm just using salsa kind of as a template because that is one of the most popular dance styles on my channel, so I know a lot of you are here for salsa tips, okay? Really quick before we get started with the lesson, I just want to let you know if you are in the market for the most comfortable and beautiful dance shoes you have ever had in your life, look no further. Yami Dance Shoes has got you. So today I'm wearing some classic like salsa or Latin heels from Yami. I absolutely love them. They have a little pillow underneath the ball of your foot in all of their styles, which makes dancing in heels just so much easier. As a woman, as a follower, we know it is so uncomfortable sometimes to have those sore, swollen feet after you get done dancing, or maybe you're not doing as much social dancing as you would like to because your shoes are uncomfortable. So I highly recommend Yami Dance Shoes. They are my favorite dance shoes I've ever worn in my life. And if you want to get 10% off and support your dance doctor, use my code DANCEDOC10 at checkout to get a 10% discount on your purchase. You can find these shoes at yamishoes.com. That's YAMI shoes.com, and use my code DANCEDOC10 at checkout for a 10% discount on your shoes. So we're just going to be going through these tips. We're not going to be practicing them with music. I'm just going to be kind of going through each of the several options that I have for you today and kind of telling you the context in which I would use each option, okay? And we're going to be going from low to high because I know low is always the most comfortable. So that's where we will be starting, okay? So we're assuming that our partner usually has our right hand. There are some times when they use both hands or the left hand to lead something, but the majority of the leads, the turns and different things that are being led from his left hand to your right hand. And so a lot of times, more often than not, it's the left arm that is free that we need to know what to do with it, okay? So the first option I'm going to give you, and we can practice it with both arms, and then you can practice it with one arm, kind of pretending that your partner has the other one. But the first one is just to touch your thighs, okay? So this is a super comforting option. If dancing is new to you, I would highly recommend this option because there's something, and I've said this before, about self-touch that really makes us feel calm, yeah? And it also kind of grounds us in our body, which is the opposite of our movements that are going away from our body. So if you have a free hand and you need something to do with it, my first piece of advice is just to touch your thigh and kind of let it move with you, okay? When you do this option, make sure that your hands aren't like this. You actually want to act like you're trying to feel your body. Anytime that I tell you to touch yourself, it's going to be in a way like you're actually trying to feel your body or warm that part of your body up. You don't want to be just the fingers. You don't want to be just the heel of the hand. You don't want to have all the fingers cupped like this. It should be a nice, natural touch, okay? So when I'm dancing, my partner lets go of one of my hands. I'll just put that right on the front of my thigh and just let it move with me, okay? The second option I'm going to give you, you see me do this all the time, and I'm always so proud because I see Sometimes I get students from my YouTube channel that start dancing with me in person or virtually, and I see them using this all the time, and I'm like, oh, such a proud mama. This is probably my favorite option of all the ones that I'm going to teach you today, because it makes the arm look good. It makes my body look good because I'm accentuating the natural curve in the waist, and it looks just very confident, I think. And it can take a person who has no idea what to do with their arms and transform them into a person that looks like they know exactly what they want to do with their arm, okay? So this is heel of the hand on the indent of your waist. My thumbs are in front, and again, I'm letting my fingers spread out. I don't want to be doing anything strange with the fingers. I'm just letting them spread out, and I'm using the heel of the hand to accentuate my waist. Now, I have a lot of students that have longer arms than I do. Most people have longer arms than I do, and they go, well, it's uncomfortable for my shoulders. You can put the hands in a place where it feels comfortable for you. That being said, naturally, when I bring my elbows forward, my shoulders are coming forward a little bit. You get kind of like that Vogue feeling, which I don't mind at all. So if your shoulders are coming forward as a result, that's totally fine. We don't want to be like this. It looks very awkward. So my advice for you, if you have long arms, is to find the place on your body where it feels comfortable, but also allow your elbows and your shoulders to come forward a little bit so that you can get that nice shape in the arm. So both option number 1 and option number 2 are perfect for if you have 2 hands with your partner or you're in closed position and then he lets go of you, you can just get in the habit of letting your hand go to one of those 2 places just automatically, yeah? And the more you do it, the more your body will just start to do it without you thinking about it, okay? Now, another option is to keep your arm right in front of you like you would if you were dancing salsa on your own, okay? There's a few important things to remember with this one so that it doesn't start looking like you're swatting flies. One is, keep the arm close to you. I actually, when I do this option, I keep my thumb on my belly. 1, 2, 3, to make sure that my arm doesn't get out there too far away from me. I also hate the way it looks when followers, when we as followers look like we're reaching for the leader. That should never be the case. He should always be reaching for us. So I like keeping this hand nice and close to me because it doesn't look at all as if I'm in a hurry to get back to him. The other thing about this one is, and I think this kind of gets fixed when you put your thumb on your belly, but to keep the palm facing down. I have so many students that end up like this when they're dancing, and I'm like, what's this? What am I supposed to do with this? So make sure that your palm is always facing down. When you're in this position, your forearm should be pretty much level with the floor. So that's going to tell you, based on how long your arms are, where it should rest, yeah? Wherever your arm naturally rests with your forearm parallel with the floor, that's where your arm will be. Belly, or the thumb on the belly, palm facing down. And that's a nice way to make sure that your arm has some energy in it. It doesn't look tense, but it also doesn't look sloppy, okay? So again, you're in closed position or you're in 2-hand hold, your partner lets go of you, just get that thumb on the belly and just let the arm move with you, okay? Now, the next option is going to be to allow the hand to go out here. So this one requires that you have a little bit more comfort and confidence in your dancing, because when we're feeling self-conscious, expanding our appendages away from our body is just going to enhance that. So if you're somebody who's still kind of figuring out what your own style is and you're not comfortable, moving in a more explosive or showy way, I would recommend one of the first 3 options. Now, if you're looking for ways to express in a way that's a little bit more out there and performative, and it's not even anything crazy, but the difference between this and this, just viscerally, it's a big difference. So if you're looking for something that you want to like start to accentuate your femininity, you want to start to show off a little bit more, this is a good option for you. So your partner lets go of you, and you're going to allow that arm to go out to the side. Again, wherever your forearm naturally is parallel with the floor. My students are always doing this. Like, you got to stop moving your forearm, girl. Keep it parallel with the floor. Your arm can move with your body, but this is my arms moving independently of my body. If I put my arms out with my forearms parallel to the floor and I just allow them to move with my body, this is what that looks like. This is not what that looks like, okay? And it takes a lot of self-control and body awareness to be able to do this. It looks easy, it's not easy. So that's something that I would practice if you're an intermediate dancer. Practice getting that arm parallel with the floor. And you can also use this one when you're doing underarm turns. This is a nice way to make sure that you're keeping your chest open as you turn and not closing, which is the tendency of a lot of people. We go underneath and we want to duck and close in, whereas it's much nicer to actually keep the chest nice and open as you go around. So that's the place that I would use that most often. Getting the arm away from me is when I'm doing an outside turn. You can also use this one when you are doing the crossbody lead and the leader doesn't have your right hand. So in this context, 3, 5, 6, 7. 1, 2, 3. You can just let the arm kind of go out to the side. You could also go 3, 5, 6, 7. But for me, the one that I use most frequently in a crossbody lead where I only have contact with him on my left side is moving that hand out to the side, okay? So that's another place that I would use the forearms parallel with the ground, okay? The next option is to, again, touch your body, but to touch your chest. So this is a fabulous option, again, if you are more of an introverted dancer, but you want to have something to do with your arms, you can bring the hand to the chest, yeah? Very nice, and it's also super comforting. It's like an actual action that is like you telling yourself, it's okay. I know social dancing is stressful. This can be a very nice, calming action for you that also looks really good. This is also a good option for when you're doing inside turns. So in an outside turn, when the arm that's being led is moving away from my body, I want to mirror that with my decorative arm. In an inside turn, when the arm is moving across my body, I'm going to mirror that also with my decorative arm. So when I do an inside turn, it's nice to get that hand on the chest because then everything's coming in, okay? And it's also an option if your partner just lets go of you. If you have 2 hands and you're feeling like, I'm uncomfortable, but I don't want to look uncomfortable, do 1 hand on the thigh and 1 hand on the chest so you're getting that input from yourself. It's okay, yeah? Everything's okay, and just do a basic step. If your partner lets go of you, doing a basic step like this is going to look a lot better than you going, what was that shine that I learned in class? Oh my God, yeah? So these are my pieces of advice, okay? Next, hand to the head. This is another one that's going to feel like this one that's like, oh my God, I'm so far out there. And that's okay, but it is one of my favorites, and I'll tell you why. Because This action to me feels like a queenly action, like I'm holding my crown, yeah? And it's like I'm framing my face, my chest is nice and open, and I'm vulnerable, but I'm also strong in this position. So I love to use this when I'm doing just a basic by myself, when I'm doing turns, when my partner turns me and I have two free hands, get the hands on the head, let them kind of melt down. And I know this one isn't for everybody, but it is really nice, even if you need to practice it only in your living room. Again, it's nice to get the feeling of like, what does this do for me? What does this do for me? What does this do for me? How are all of those different interpretations, how do they affect my physicality and kind of how I feel from the outside in, okay? So I do encourage you to practice this one and actually lift your chin and have that feeling like I'm holding my crown, I'm a queen, okay? You can use that one anytime that your partner lets go of you, either with one hand, you do one hand on your waist, one hand on your head, both hands on your head. It is totally up to you, and I do encourage you to try it, even though if you're looking at me and saying, I would never do that, yeah? Now, down to up, our last one is gonna be arms up over the head, okay? So I use this when I have been led in a free spin, which means my partner is turning me but letting go of both hands. And I really like this because then he can grab me wherever he wants me and I can kind of let my arms fall down. I also like to use this kind of at the end of a turn. So you can either do this arms up at the beginning of the turn, or you could do arms out, up at the end of the turn, okay? It makes it easier for the leader to get underneath us without us then having to do this kind of like weird thing going over. So anytime I'm doing a free spin, pretty much I'm bringing my arms up over my head. That being said, if that's uncomfortable for you, you can always use one of the other options. But I do really like my students to get used to doing this, if not on every turn, at least some of the time, because it does make you look more confident and it does help with the overall just feeling and look of your dancing. Thank you so much for joining me for today's lesson. If you liked the content in this lesson, I highly encourage you to check out the other resources that I have online. That means my Patreon membership, my online courses. Patreon is patreon.com/dancedoctor. My courses are at dancedoctoronline.com. If you're looking to improve your dancing bit by bit, both of those resources are fantastic. I have price points that will work for somebody on any budget. So I have a $5 a month tier where you will get a quick tip lesson every week, all the way up to my Train Like a Dancer program, which is a 3-week program for $199. So, and everything in between. So I've got something for you if you really want to improve your dancing. Stick with me, join either my membership or buy one of my courses or do all of it. And let's really make 2024 the best dancing year we've had so far. Remember, practice makes progress, and until next time, keep dancing.